What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Starkmac, MovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. It's March Madness, which for me just means I'm going through Netflix's long list of films and picking out 31 excellent films that they've made over the years that I have no reviews of and have audio description. So I was always going to be reviewing Beasts of No Nation. This is a second look at Beasts of No Nation. I've seen this movie before. It's not a film that I thought I would review again. But then again, I saw this when I had sight, and I was like, well, this is a really bleak movie. Excellent movie, but bleak. Not the kind of thing that I want to find myself revisiting over and over again. Sort of like 12 Years a Slave, Schindler's List. There's some movies that are like, this is excellent, but how many times am I really going to rewatch this throughout my life? Like, I'd say Private Ryan's excellent. I think I've seen that movie maybe twice. I don't think I've seen it more than 3 times. I've seen Schindler's List like twice. I still don't think I've rewatched 12 Years a Slave. um, so I rewatched this movie, and it's still a powerful, staggering work from Kari Jojo Fukunaga. Uh, and so click like and subscribe because we're going to talk about it. It has audio description, accessibility, things I'm trying to advocate for, things that don't always get advocated for nowadays when people are trying to run from DEI initiatives. So we got to do this. This film did really well at the Spirit Awards, by the way. It's nominated for like 5 awards, and Abraham Aja won Best Actor. I didn't realize that. I totally forgot that. And Idris was nominated in Supporting Actor. Idris Elba. This was his bid to try to get in the Oscars, which arguably he's a snub. Like, this is one of those few times where you go, what is a snub? And a snub is somebody who had a reasonable expectation of being nominated. And Idris was nominated at Golden Globe, SAG, and BAFTA, which are like the 3 biggest ones. It's helpful if you also get Critics' Choice, which Abraham got, but not Idris. And so like those are the 3 big awards. It was, yeah. I mean, he definitely was snubbed. He definitely got knocked out that year. And it would have been his first Oscar nomination for this. And he's terrifying. He's excellent. He's charismatic, but he's just a terrible person. He's this, this warlord that uses child soldiers. He's not somebody that you like or root for. But we don't see enough stories like this. We see like thousands of World War II dramas. Every 5 minutes, somebody's making another World War II drama or a drama set in and around World War II. But Africa is a continent where it's got somewhere there's war, like constantly. There's some battle, there's some insurgency, something, and stories like this remind us that our sort of ethnocentric values ignore a continent on the planet that we seem to just not be very astute to their needs, or very or care about, and just kind of like what's happening in Africa. I don't know. Just, can you name the countries of? Nah, not really. I don't know. I don't know what's down there anymore. Like, we just don't educate ourselves enough about it. We don't talk enough about the politics. We don't talk enough about the countries, the structures. So, but like, if you tell people there are child soldiers, they get really angry about it. They're like, oh, what? There are child soldiers? Where? Who's doing this? This is terrible. So it's great to use a hot button topic to try to pull people in to something we should care more about and should talk about more often. Between Hotel Rwanda and Beasts of No Nation, I don't know at what point we were like, oh, well, where are the films, you know? Occasionally we make something that impacts and makes people go, oh, hey, look at Africa. They also have problems. But most of the time we're busy making Civil War dramas and World War II dramas and dramas that feature white people. But there are reasons and to tell these kinds of stories so that we can become more aware of them and so that we can do something about them to stop them from happening. If I hate to say it, but yeah, we need more Beasts of No Nation. I know that films like this make people uncomfortable to watch because it's not happy. It's very violent. Literally, like, its rating, the first thing that was listed under was gore. Um, so that kind of sets the tone immediately when you look at the rated R for gore. Um, and it's not a horror movie. You're like, oh god, well, this is not a Terrifier sequel, so I'm in for it. And you're in for it. And the audio description does not hold back, doesn't pull punches. Points out when there are dead bodies and people just get shot, just sort of basically just because somebody has a gun. Lots of war crimes and atrocities being featured here, and all seen through the eyes of a child soldier played by Abraham, who you wonder if he's going to have a future. This movie could have ended very bleakly and ended with him just like lying on like the side of the road, as many of his counterparts throughout, many child soldiers like him who aren't the featured lead don't make it for various reasons. You wonder whether or not he will, whether or not this movie's not going to just have the bleakest ending of the world and he just becomes another statistic. So, yeah, very powerful movie, an excellent lead performance, and an excellent supporting performance from Idris Elba. Two performances that'll hit you on two different levels. One performance that you're like, this kid shouldn't be here, and the other performance is, this guy is terrifying, because he's very charismatic and very charming, and it shows you how somebody like that can make all the promises in the world. He's like Peter Pan if Peter Pan was like a nightmare in real life. Like, little children, I've come to promise you these things, and we're gonna take over the world. No, Peter Pan should be having fun. And what are you doing with these kids? Yeah, the world's worst Peter Pan. Anyway, the impact of this film is felt. I thought the audio description was excellent. I've known this movie is excellent. I just don't revisit it a lot because it's not a happy movie, but it did exactly what it needed to do the first time, which a lot of movies, when you punch so hard the first time out of the gate, you don't need to punch again. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I got punched once by Floyd Mayweather, I don't need to go back to him a few years later and be like, I forgot. What was it like? Could you punch me again, sir? I have a feeling that first punch is just I'm gonna be unconscious for days. I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna be like, it's been 2 months. You got punched by Floyd Mayweather. Like, I'm like, well, I was obviously unprepared for that. So, yeah, there are films like that, and they stay with you. There are scenes in movies like The Cove. I've only seen that movie once, and that movie's never left me. So, like, if you make the right movie and you make the right choices, you can have a lasting impact with one viewing. It is actually possible to do that. And there are films that I've only seen once, and it's been 10, 15, 20 years, and I still remember the emotional impact of that film. And the only reason I'm revisiting some of these movies is so I can get them with audio description, so I can talk about the audio description track. It's not like the first time I saw Schindler's List, I was like, I don't know, I'm not going to remember this movie. It's like, no, fuck yeah, I remember that movie. I just rewatched it again because of audio description. So it's the same thing with Beast of No Nation. It's like, this is a hell of a movie. And a harrowing journey. I cannot praise this movie enough. I thought it was fantastic. And the fact that this has no Oscar nominations, I think only is because it was distributed by Netflix, and this was when they were beginning to start to try to get into the Oscar game, and Hollywood was really resistant. So they just ignored this movie, even though other groups started accepting it and started inching it in, and they should have at least given Idris the nomination. Um, yeah, it didn't happen. So if you haven't checked out Beast of No Nation, it's on Netflix. It's definitely a watch, and I highly recommend it. I think it's one of the best movies they have ever made, ever. I'm gonna give Beast of No Nation an A. Obviously, it's not a desert island movie for me. I would not take this to a desert island. I would absolutely respect it and honor it and be like, yes, it's an excellent movie. I'm not. This is not something I'm gonna watch over and over. But very excellent job done. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Remember, diversity, equity, inclusivity are not bad words, and I'll see you guys on the other side.